I am really curious to know because when I was writing the code, you referred to clock.start. How could we actually implement a method chaining in those classes so we could actually instantiate the clock and then on just make it like new clock.start?
So you're concerned that I first constructed the object and then I had to manually invoke the start methods, and you want to combine both of these into one. Well, we can easily do the following. I can go back to my code, remove the need to call the start, and in the constructor, but initially we lack the constructor, that's why I didn't do it. In the constructor, I can get this snippet, put it inside here, and if I'm not mistaken, the clock should still be working. And let's review that the code changes have made it. We can see that this is the construction function, and inside it we have this code executed. So, is this what you wanted?
No, actually, because when you in ECMAScript 5, when you want to achieve a method chaining, you would return this from the method you are calling. This is how actually jQuery does it, as far as I know. So my question is more like in TypeScript, do we have? Can we also return this the instance of the class so we can actually make this method chaining happen for convenience?
Okay. Sorry for not understanding the first time around. I think I get it now. So I think we can. I haven't really tried it, but let's assume that we want the start function to return the clock. Right? So we're getting an error that we don't return anything, which is okay. Let's return this here, and in the application, to see that everything is working fine, you want to add the start here, right?
Yes.
Okay. This is quite useful because I constantly mistype the method names. Okay, so let's see now if we are getting the correct instance set. So we can see, yes, that the start function now also returns the instance of the object that we created.
One more last thing. Can we turn back to the code? Into the definition of the class. I just wanted to see if we actually really removed. We did remove the starting function. And yet it works because I was thinking that we could actually return the this from the constructor, but I think we're digging too deep now. Thanks.
Well, the constructor doesn't have the ability to return anything else but itself. So we don't have to return this here. It's automatically being done as it would in other object-oriented languages.
First of all, thank you for the talk. It was really encouraging, especially with such capabilities that you just described. I think it could make a really time saver for long-lasting projects, and especially when there are more than, I don't know, 1+ thousands of lines of code. Yeah, so it's a really good thing. So in terms of the TypeScript, one small note from my side, I think it's really interesting in terms of React development as well, because they recently announced that they're gonna support the JSX type syntax in 1.6, and they recently also implemented that's async and await ECMAScript 7 thing. So we can use React and also TypeScript without even Babel, just because TypeScript actually it's a superset of ECMAScript 6 already. So it's a good thing, yeah, and we need to pay attention on the project, and it's really exciting. So my question is a little bit in another direction. You've mentioned the definitely type thing, which is really awesome. They have more than, I don't know, 500 libraries. So last time when I checked it, so they pretty much cover all the basic frameworks out there. But what if we talk about some, I don't know, custom or proprietary frameworks which are not necessarily open source? And in my case, for instance, I have a library which is with a pretty verbose API. It's more than, I don't know, 500 plus endpoints, different methods and all of that stuff. So they have some similar structure, but not all over the library. And I'm interested in getting IntelliSense with that, because to work with the library, not to go into the documentation each time when I want to find out what the method is going to return to me. So is there any way, or is there any kind of library out there available for me to generate the definition files based on the source code? Or the only way for me right now is just to go and do it manually, like everybody does in documentation, because it's pretty much the documentation, it's nothing more than that. Thank you.
I can't think of such a library that you want on the top of my head. I'm pretty sure that there are ones that take a JavaScript source file and that convert it to a definition TypeScript file, the thing you want. But I don't think that I can safely encourage you to do this. I can propose you the following process that you can do. You can tell the compiler to not only generate the JavaScript file, but to also output a definition file for the thing that you have. So you can do this code migration to your framework from JavaScript to TypeScript, and only add the types. Tell the compiler to output the definition file, and don't worry about having this file anymore. And you're going to have only the definition file that you want. So
what about the IntelliSense? Okay, so what about the IntelliSense? Am I gonna have IntelliSense using that approach?
yes, you will. You will have IntelliSense during the moment that you're adding types to your source file, and when you get the definitions file after that and put it inside the project like we did, you're going to have IntelliSense over your framework, even though you only reference the JavaScript file, the one that you have already. Yeah.
Do you have any control over the output of the compiled code?
Very good question. Well, as I already showed, we had the ability to tell the compiler to put all the files into one file. But of course, there are other stuff that we can do. I already mentioned the following. We can change the output target level for the JavaScript code that we have. So for now, we're ECMAScript 5, but let's change it to ECMAScript 6 and see what happens. I think this is the compiled code. So we can see that we're no longer using the prototype change to define classes. We have classes inside of the syntax in JavaScript. But if I try to run this in Firefox, it's not going to work because class is still not a supported identifier in the language. Let's see what other options we have here. As the colleague just said, we have the ability to control also the JSX code generation. It can be preserved or be used with the React syntax. I also opened here quickly the announcement that in TypeScript 1.6, we have really support for React and JSX files. We can also tell the compiler to not emit any output if we have errors or warnings. As we saw in the beginning, I had 8 errors inside my JavaScript code, but we still had a JavaScript output file. If I take this option, whenever I have an error in my code, I'm not going to get the JavaScript files anymore. And you can add experimental support for ECMAScript 7 decorators, generate source maps. There are many things that you can do with the output of the compiler, but I don't think we have enough time to cover all of them.
My question was in a bit of a different direction. It's not so much of choose ECMAScript 5 or 6, but JavaScript is a very dynamic language in nature. So if I want to write and abuse the module pattern myself, I can do it. And it seems that TypeScript is compiling everything to a module-like pattern. If I want to change that behavior, how can I do it?
You can always write the code you want in JavaScript the way you want to write it in TypeScript. TypeScript does not limit anything that you can write in JavaScript, but you can further decorate it with types. So if you don't like how namespaces and modules work in TypeScript as a built-in feature, you can just write your own self-executing functions and do whatever you want with them inside. So you don't need to trick the compiler in any way. You can do it yourself as you would in JavaScript.
Just a small note from my side in terms of the code being generated using TypeScript. So the TypeScript team, Adams Hellsberg in particular, work pretty tight together with the creator of the Chakra engine from Microsoft, and they used their experience when working on the Chakra engine in order to optimize the generated code as much as they can right now. So we can rely on that code and that it's pretty optimized right out of the box using TypeScript.
Okay, thank you for that note. So do we have any other questions?
No, no questions.
I intentionally created this slide in order to avoid the situation, but it seems like it's kind of unavoidable. Before we end this presentation, I have a personal appeal to all of you. If you are in a situation where you're developing JavaScript with no tools, please spend some time and research if there's an easy way to fix this for yourself. I'm not saying do it with TypeScript, although we saw that with TypeScript, the initial cost of doing this is quite small, but the long-term benefits are tremendous. So please, don't write JavaScript without tools. Thank you.